Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is happening with this episode of Fireside Yankees? I'm Nick Nielsen, and I am joined with a channel favorite, everyone's favorite, Gabe, playoff Tanaka for yet another episode. I think this is like the fourth time we've had you on the channel. That's how you know you do a good job when we bring you back on.
Yeah,
Gabe,
dude.
it's been a couple weeks since the Yankees last loss, in the ultimate end of the season. Excuse me. What First of all, how are you doing? How's everything going since there's been no Yankees baseball? How are you managing? I know I'm barely crawling by, but how are you doing, my friend?
Um, I'm doing pretty well. Pretty good World Series. I enjoyed it. Was rooting for the Phillies, but
Oh, same.
yeah. Yeah. I officially missed the Yankees again. Like after the season ended, I almost needed like a break with after how frustrating the ALCS was and just like depressing. But I'm like hungry for some baseball. You know what I mean? Like I've been watching Yankee condensed games and all that again because like I just miss it, dude. Like I'm in on all the rumors. Like I'm ready for opening day.
I'm loving it, dude. That's how we got to be, and especially for how the season ended, it's like holy shit, just get me back to baseball so I can just forget that ever happened and start cheering for the team again, and not just sitting here being like, if they had done this, this, and this, it would have been different. But
Yeah,
now it's kind of turning to we're not obviously hot stove in it yet. Free agency doesn't officially start until Thursday, but we've seen some moves already being made. Obviously the Mets just dumped their entire load onto Edwin Diaz, 5 years, $102 million contract, highest contract by a reliever, right? Or is it 120 million? I think it was 102. It was
yeah.
102.
It was 102, and yeah, he broke our good
Arold
buddy
Doofus.
Aroldis.
Oh, dude, I hope no one tells him it's free agency, so he just doesn't sign a contract and he's playing like the Cuban Nacional League next year because he forgot to sign a contract, which would be
No,
just awesome.
Chapman. I don't think Chapman cares too much about returning to baseball. I think like he's made a lot of money. He
Yeah,
he
but
really
what a sad way to go out. Like, why would you ever want to go out like
he
that?
doesn't
He could
care.
have been a Hall of
Dude,
Famer if he
he,
had
he
just
skipped
tried.
he skipped the team practice or whatever after hearing he wasn't going to be on the roster. Like
It's like
Chapman
that's
doesn't give a shit.
so self-conceited, dude. The dude's so pretentious and he's not even good. So it's like, why are you acting like you're
Dude,
this hot
did you see
shot,
that thing though?
Aroldis?
By Eno Saris,
No, what do you say?
Chapman still has like the best stuff plus or whatever.
I don't disagree because when he's
No,
on,
he
it's like
has filthy
he's
stuff. He's
got
just
filthy stuff,
yeah.
but half the time you can't even get him to locate it over the plate. And when he does try to
Wait, he
locate it,
can't.
he's
He
throwing
can't.
96. And it's like, well, we can't be doing this, Aroldis,
Yeah.
94 or 94 sometimes this year. And then just walk hit batters and smile and laugh and be laughing in the dugout after. And it's like, Aroldis, what are you doing? I feel like I've said that like 8 out of the 10 times I watched him pitch in the last 2 months. Aroldis, what are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to talk about Chapman too much. Like we're done with him.
But hey, that's what I do. I will say Chapman not being on this team is like honestly, in a way, turning a new page for this Yankees team. He and Britton are off the books. Chad Green's not returning. For the first time, it seems like we're going into a 2023 season where the Yankees are not going to be allocating a lot of money into the bullpen, which I love personally.
Yeah.
I don't see the reason behind paying relievers all this money, which is why, granted, Edwin Diaz is a freak of nature last year. He struck out what, like 55% of batters. So he deserves the
Yeah.
bag, but I wouldn't be the one to give it to him. So I'm glad the Yankees didn't like be like, oh man, like the Mets, we were in on Edwin Diaz. So I'm happy that they're sticking to the young guys through the farm. Like I think Ridings is going to play a big role next year. Weissert, obviously Ron LaDon Marinaccio, the true AL Rookie of the Year. There's a
You
lot of
know.
pieces that I'm excited about. Mike King will be back as well because he didn't have to have TJ. I don't know, Gabe. What are you like immediately way too early thoughts about how this roster looks right now going into
The
2023?
roster? I
Yeah,
mean, the offense is abysmal right now, like, without technically Judge and Rizzo are no longer a part of the team. It is a pretty brutal lineup, but the pitching looks like that's what it's gonna be, you know? We have pretty much our 5 in the rotation unless they go out and sign a Rodon or make a move like that.
DeGrom.
And I think the bullpen is set, man. I mean, Clay Holmes obviously very up and down year last year, but like he ended pretty strong, looked good in the postseason. Michael King's an absolute beast. Ron Marinaccio, your guy, is awesome.
Wandy, the bodyguard. He
Yeah.
pitched like
Dude,
36 innings in the postseason.
Wandy he was a postseason hero. Like
Pitched
he was
every game, I
phenomenal.
think, for like except one maybe. But
Yeah.
it was I
No,
love Wandy. That the bullpen's the strength now. Like coming into throughout the season, I feel like the Yankees were a little bit judged. Like, oh, this bullpen doesn't really have any big names. There's no guy that they can turn to. But down in the postseason, you looked at what the Yankees did. Aside from a few boneheaded moves by Boone, like the bringing in like Montas and Schmidt in those situations he did were not good
yeah.
moves, and then pulling Cole was not a good move. The bullpen did their job. Like Clay was great, like you said. Wandy
I
was
mean, don't
great.
forget about Jonathan Loaizaga. Since coming
Yeah.
back from injury in August, I mean, he was 2021.
He could be
Jonathan
the I think
Loaizaga. He was
he should be the
phenomenal.
closer for 2023 going into the season. If Boone chooses to name a closer, should it be Wandy? Should it be Loizaga? Do you give it to Clay?
I don't necessarily like. I don't care whether or not
Neither do
there's like
I.
a set closer. You know what I mean?
But the
Like
people love to see set closer, Gabe. People love to
I
see a guy
know.
that's the closer.
Yeah, I mean Loaizaga. I mean, coming into 2022, that's the guy. Like people were like, "Well, I think Loaizaga could take over for Chapman in the closer role." And like, you know, I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with Holmes. I kind of like Wandy as like the fireman. You know, Wandy can come in the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, or ninth, like whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
great role
I
for
mean, the
him.
bullpen's pretty stacked. Like the more I think about it,
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Like, especially because if the Yankees choose to bring back Trevino and give him a couple million for
Trevino
next
too.
season,
Holy shit,
that
yeah.
could be huge. And then Efros, I know, is going to probably be out for the entire year because he had Tommy John. But there, like,
Oh my,
Lidke may
we
be
can.
brought back, even though he's like 47 years old. Like, there's a couple
I
of
have a
moves.
name. I have a
Ooh,
name.
what's the name?
A reunion for the third time. I think Tommy Kahnle is coming back to the New
That would
York
be
Yankees.
awesome. He looked
Why
good,
not,
dude.
dude?
He
I don't
looked
think he
good.
talked too much, and yeah, he pitched well with the Dodgers, right? I
Yeah,
believe.
he did. And his changeup is still his go-to
Oh
pitch.
yeah,
Like,
and he's
he throws
dude.
that like
He
60% of the
would
time.
bring back some of the fun.
I would
You know
love
what
to
I
see
mean?
that or Robo. Bring back my boy Houdini. I know that there's still like,
Yeah.
like there may be some discontent between the front office and him after what happened again.
Yeah.
But seeing the way he was talking shit on the Astros and saying, I'll never get 2017 back. So there's that added motivation. And I will never forgive them for it. Makes me think Hal saw that and said, you know what, Robo? Come back. Come back
That's
home.
very, very bold of you to even assume Hal Steinbrenner knows who David Robertson
Yeah.
is.
He's like,
I'd
who's
say
this
that
guy?
that's
What
like
number
a
did he wear?
50-50 thought. He's like, yeah, Hal couldn't name half the 2022 Yankees
Yeah,
roster. Like I'm like almost certain of that.
I loved your tweet where you're like, we should have a press
Dude,
conference where Howe just does the
dude,
2022 Yankees
the post
sparkle.
year at the end of the year every year they should have Hal Steinbrenner play the Yankees 2020 like the whatever team it was Sporacle and like they like like it's like a like live event like Hal like
He gets like
and
six
dude
players.
that would be awesome, dude. He's like,
You know he has to get judged because he's like
Gardner.
Judge. Yeah, Gardner was there. He's like thinking back. He's like Pineda.
No,
Uh,
yeah.
Phil Hughes.
Jeter.
Yeah, Jeter. Jeter's still around here somewhere. Where's Jeter?
Yeah.
Bring Jeter into the room. But I don't know, Gabe. I'm excited about 2023, even though it's so far away, which sucks because that's how baseball operates. But Thursday, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, is when like free agency officially becomes like free agents. Like everyone's on their own. As you saw, the Yankees extended the qualifying offer to Rizzo. I do not know if he's accepted or declined yet, but some other guys have already declined theirs, making them already basically already on the market. Like Mitch Haniger, as we saw earlier, Wilson Contreras, we saw earlier. There's a lot of moving parts already. And I feel like the Yankees have to be active and engaged on the market if they want to be competitors next season. You cannot sit by and be like, we're going to try to get Judge signed, and that's all we're going to focus on for the next 2.5 months.
Did the Yankees give a qualifying offer to JMO?
No, I didn't see anything about that. All I saw was the Rizzo one for
do you think that
19.6. No, I do not. JMO's not worth 19 million.
Yeah, I agree, especially with how the Yankees spend. Like to dish out almost $20 million for a guy who's going to be, even if he, you know, I think he'd accept it.
Oh, well, he should. It's $20 million.
Yeah,
He's worth about, in my opinion, 14, 13 for 3 years.
No, but for
he
a
was
guy
solid, but
who would be your 4 or 5 starter, that's just you can't
not worth it.
that
It's
amount
dumb
of
as
money
hell.
out.
It's like
I like Tyone, and he was a good Yankee. You know, he pitched well in Game 1 against Houston. You know, he had a solid year overall. But I would not give him the qualifying offer there. But
no, Rizzo makes more sense because Rizzo declined the player option. So you're like, all right, well, if you just want a couple more million, we'll extend you the qualifying. and the Yankees get the comp pick back.
Yeah,
So they
exactly.
may
The
extend it to
original for
JMO,
sure, yeah.
but I don't see why they would do it because, like you said, I feel like Jameson would accept that, and the Yankees would immediately be like, "Well, we take it back on second thought. We're
Yeah,
gonna
I
offer you a
mean
2-year, $15 million deal." And he'll be like, "No." And I don't even want, honestly, JMO, like you said, he was a good Yankee, but I don't want to bring back JMO for the amount of money that he's probably gonna bring in
yeah,
because
no,
he's a 13-14 million dollar guy. I don't
he'll
want
get a solid 3 or 4-year deal from the Angels, from I don't
to.
know.
Ooh,
But,
JMO down in Cali. I love it.
maybe I'm trying to think of possible suitors. No, whatever.
There's a couple of
Um,
people out there, but JMO be gone. I do think that you said the rotation's pretty much set in stone.
oh, wait, oh,
I
Rizzo.
Montas has to bounce back, dude.
Oh, I don't know what to expect from Frankie Montas.
Like he was injured, but come on now. That was
Yeah,
a
I mean, and he was
bad
obviously
Yankee
horrible.
showing.
He was horrible as a Yankee, obviously, and it wasn't a huge sample, and he is not beloved at all by the fan base. He's not a favorite.
I feel bad
And
because
you know,
like I like
rightfully so.
Frankie. He's got the stuff to pitch well, but we
Oh,
need to
for
see
sure.
more if he's going to be like a guy in the rotation. We got him to be the 2 behind Cole, and
Yeah,
now it's like he's obviously very much so the 4 or the 5 because Sevy's the set 3, Nestor is the 1 or the 2, and Cole's the 1 or the 2, whichever way you want to put it. I'd still have Cole as the 1, especially seeing the postseason.
oh,
But
yeah.
Nestor shoved even when he was injured. I wish he didn't pitch when he was injured because then he gave up the home run. But Nestor is Nestor. That's who he is. He's never going to quit on the team. So I love the 1, 2, 3. I do just worry a bit about the 4, 5 because you may be having Schmidt as the 5. And this will truly, I hope the Yankees give Schmidt the 5 if they don't sign anyone because Schmidt deserves it. The guy's pitched in every role you could have imaginable for him. And then you send him down so he could rack up innings and experience as a starter, only to call him back up as a bullpen arm. This needs to be the year where Clark Schmidt gets the reins in the rotation, right?
Yeah, and I'm almost certain that he will have a spot out of spring training. And I'm happy for him. He has the stuff. He has 2 very good breaking balls, and he's got a very good sinker.
Mm-hmm.
He has the stuff to be a solid major league starting pitcher, I think. I don't know if I don't think he'd really profile as a top end starter,
Sure.
but as a 4 or 5, I mean, I think he's got quite a bit of potential. But I think what you could expect for the Yankees to do as far as starting pitching, they
Mm-hmm.
might add like a back end arm for a little bit more depth. Because again, like the
That's the
5th
Yankee
starter is
way.
Schmidt right now, and then who would be? Because you need to go into the season with at least 7 starting
You
pitchers.
got
So who?
Domingo and then Davey.
Domingo, and then like Davies not like we don't even know
Yeah.
if they'll.
Yeah.
He's a non-tender candidate. So
Crazy, dude. A couple years ago, Davey, everyone was like, is Davey like this sneaky ace that could be a big name for the Yankees? And then he just got shelled the season after and just couldn't find it. Then he battled injuries. But last season, when he came back from his injuries, he looked pretty solid. Our own Empire Sports Media's own Ryan Garcia dropped a great piece on Davey Garcia and what the Yankees could expect
yeah,
out of him. So go ahead and give that a read on the website, everyone that's watching. But the other thing the Yankees, and we talked about this before the episode, kind of shifting from the starting pitching and bullpen talk as we've done and what the Yankees are going to do with their own players. Obviously, we both agree on this. Last thing I'll say, Josh Donaldson should not be in the starting lineup 2023. They need to find some way to either dump him by attaching a prospect or just eat their pride and get rid of him. Look what the Mets did with Cano last year, and it freed up their infield for other guys. Players have sometimes they just fall off a cliff. It happens. That's life. That's baseball.
yeah. I think it's a 50-50 shot that Donaldson's back. He played a great third base. Obviously, I'm not the biggest Josh Donaldson fan. Neither is most of the Yankee fan base,
For the
but
right reason.
yeah, I mean, he played an awesome third base. He His offense completely fell off a cliff. His exit velocity was down like 3 or 4 miles per hour. He was chasing like crazy, and just watching him, he looked like a guest hitter for pretty much the entire season. So, I mean, I would not like him back, for sure. I don't know if that means that you have to attach a prospect to him and ship him somewhere. If you have to just eat the money,
Who would take him? What could be? I'm trying to think about this, Gabe. What's your like initial team or two that would be willing to take on Josh Donaldson's contract? If the Yankees aid it, that's fine. But what team
no,
would even want him?
I don't think anyone would be willing to take on his contract. But I think there are definitely teams out there that would take a chance with him. He still plays very good third base, and
Mm-hmm.
like maybe there is a little bit more in his bat than he showed this year. Maybe he was playing through something. I don't I can't think of a team off the top of my head, but I mean, I'm sure you could find a suitor out there. I
The
don't know.
Astros will take him, and he'll DH and bat 400 for the entire season.
We wouldn't shock me, man. Um, I think there's a shot that he's the Yankees' third baseman next year, and that scares me a little bit, but we'll see.
Now, there's a name we discussed before the show that you had said you would be interested in, and I did a piece on him as well a couple of weeks ago for ESM. It was actually a week ago, not a couple of weeks ago. But Brandon Drury is a guy that's a free agent. He had his best career season last year with the Padres and mostly the Reds. He slumped off a bit with San Diego, but they also started trying to do too much with their lineup and moving him around to different positions and platooning him with Bell, which didn't make sense to me considering they're two big guys other than Soto, obviously, that they want to slot in their lineup. But how would you feel about a potential reunion with Brandon Drury following the Vertigo vendetta of 2018, in which he just could not play baseball and could not like do anything, and there was no real communication between the front office and him about it. And then next thing we know, he just played 16 games and disappeared. So would you like to see him back in pinstripes? Could it work out the second time?
I would definitely prefer Drury to Donaldson, like
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Especially for the price.
He's versatile. He can play all over the infield, and I think he play some outfield as well.
He
I
played
believe
left field a couple
some
years
corner.
ago.
He did.
For
Well,
the
okay.
Diamondbacks.
Anyway,
And a little bit with the Mets.
yeah. Oh, I forgot he was a Met. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's how
mean,
he came back, baby. He had like a 115 WRC plus with the Mets in
oh yes,
2021.
that's right.
And
Yeah,
that's when the Reds were like, yeah, screw it. We have no one else on the team right now. We'll give you a veteran minimum. And then they got a pretty good prospect out of him.
yeah.
So Drury's I think he's like a $5-6 million a year guy for 2 or 3 years. Maybe he gets 8 or 9 because he plays multiple positions. But I feel like that's not a bad get for the Yankees. Like,
Yeah, and like Cashman loves Drury. Like he tried to
yes,
get him years ago, and then
yeah,
he ended up getting him in 18. And that the Brandon Drury story was pretty wild. I was like thinking about it recently. I think Drury like went to Boone like mid game, and he was like, "I can't see. Like I
yeah.
literally can't see." And then Andujar came up and took his job. And
And
I
the rest
mean,
is history.
yeah, I would like Drury back. I think he could be a solid player.
Yeah.
So I'd be in. I think he might get a little bit more than what you said. Like I think he might want like maybe like a 2 year, like a. You know what? I think he might get kind of like a DJ 20 before 2019 deal, like a 2
Oh,
for 24, something
yeah.
like that. He's kind of similar players. Versatile a little bit. I'd be all for that as like a small little move. I think that
Yeah.
makes them a better team.
And if you look at Drury's batted ball profile from this last season, it was very similar to DJ before he hit free agency. He didn't bat 300 like DJ did, and he didn't strike out and he struck out about twice as much as DJ. But if you look at the type of contact they made, the in the zone swing percentage, the out of zone swing percentage, they're very similar players. I would like Drury just because he can play, like you said, a couple positions, and having him as a nice little first base insurance for Rizzo, assuming he
Yeah.
does come back with his back issues. I think that'd be great. Now, the one kind of last thing I want to talk about for the offseason, the Yankees, what they should do, the outfield. We have a lot of question marks for the outfield going into this season, especially now that Judge is basically going to be a free agent in 2 days or in a day because this will air tomorrow, Wednesday. Jeez. But Benintendi as well is going to be a free agent. The Yankees have Bader for sure because he's on the team for next year with Arb. Stanton will likely not see the outfield. What are some guys out there that you're interested in to fill in that corner spot? There's one that I know you're very excited about potentially seeing in pinstripes. So
Oh.
what are you thinking there, Gabe?
There's a couple dudes. I think Brandon Nimmo would be a very nice add. I think he's gonna
Splash
cost
the cash, baby.
yeah, he's gonna cost a lot more than people think. He's a very good baseball player.
Yeah,
You know, he
incredible eye.
he's a very good leadoff hitter. I mean, I'd love him in front of Judge if we could also afford him and Judge. But
We can
I
afford it. I just don't know if they'll do it. That's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah, okay,
The
yeah, they
Yankees can
can
do whatever the
afford
hell
it.
they want. They just don't. They just
I
choose
don't know if
not
they would
to.
do that, but
Maybe this is the year, dude.
we'll see. But yeah, I would like Brandon Nimmo. Very good player. I think he could get a deal around 5-ish years.
Yeah, I see 5 or 6, yeah.
5 years, close to 100 mil. But I mean, I think he'd be worth it. He'd be a very good leadoff hitter. He gets on base a lot, like we said, and he is very improved defensively in the outfield.
Yeah.
He wouldn't play center field for the Yankees, but I mean, I think he could handle left field with the big Yankee Stadium left field.
And he played a
And
bit of left with the Mets last season, I believe, because
yeah,
Marte was in center a bit.
I think he was mainly their center fielder.
Yeah, he was, but I'm saying he could do left, is what I'm saying. Like, it wouldn't be that much of that crazy of a transition for him to switch over to left field.
Oh
And
yeah,
him
no, I think he could handle it for
and
sure.
with his range and
Good
ability to play
athlete.
center, it means that he could cover left field pretty well. Because Yankee left field is much tougher than Yankee right field. Obviously, who would have thought?
Yeah.
And if we bring back Judge and you put in Bader in center and Nimmo in left, that is immediately one of the best outfields in baseball. And I will die on that
Oh
hill.
yeah. I mean, defensively, it is
Even offensively, if
impeccable. And
Bader's
offensively.
postseason run is like legitimate and he did unlock some sort of new swing path, launch angle, plane, like torque of the hands or something, then I will immediately be on board that this offensively could be the best outfield in baseball.
I don't know how much of an offense. Like, I think it's possible Bader just kind of, he had been back for about 3 or 4 weeks at that point. I think he might have just hit a stride. Like he was getting consistent at bats. I don't know if he's that type of offensive player, but I mean, he could be an above average
Yeah.
hitter.
You get 20 home runs out of Bader and he bats say 260, which is kind of right in line with what he looks like he's going to settle at. He's not going to walk a ton. He doesn't walk a ton, but he also doesn't strike out a ton. So if you get Bader with like 260, 310, 300, and then like a 450, 460 slugging, you don't need everyone on the team to be 900
Oh
OPS,
no,
you know?
I mean that
But a
would,
760 OPS from Bader with his defense would be like a 5 WAR season.
dude. Yeah, that's an absolute stud if he has a 760 OPS. Like,
Yeah, he's like it
that's
could
a
be 6 WAR
phenomenal
season.
baseball player.
That's like better than Tommy Edman because Tommy Edman last year, everyone was saying the most slept on guy because he didn't, hit home runs. But Tommy Edman
Harrison
last year had like a 5.5 WAR.
in 2021, Harrison Bader played 103 games, so he missed a solid amount of time, and he put up 3.3 F4.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
about in line for like a
he's
5
a dude.
F4 season. Like
Yep.
I love Harrison Bader, dude. He's a great Yankee. We were both in the same boat when we traded Montgomery, where it's like, what are we doing? He's not even healthy. This is an
Yeah.
interesting move. I don't love it. And then we saw down the stretch, Bader came back.
Yeah, it clicked.
And you're like, this
it
makes
made
sense. I
Yeah.
see why we wanted this guy. And he wasn't even hitting the
It was a
ball
good
that
trade.
well. And then the postseason rolled around and he did everything and then some and endeared himself to Yankee faithful. Will forever be Colt status as the only guy that did something in the postseason for the Yankees offensively. Well, he and Rizzo. But I think the Yankees, the one guy that we had talked about before, because I don't think Nimmo is an option. I'm going to be real. I think the Yankees are going to be like, too much money, which
Yeah,
sucks.
I don't think it's likely because I do think that they're going to re-sign Judge. I think they
Yes.
will literally give him whatever he wants because they've passed on free agents in the past. They didn't go in on Harper. They didn't go in on Machado. They didn't
Because
go
we had
in
Jackson
on a
Frazier,
shortstop.
Gabe.
They had Clint
Jackson.
excuse me. But yeah, they've passed on many free agents because they know that they need to keep Judge. He's a fan favorite. He's a phenomenal baseball player, and he makes the Yankees so much money.
The
that
Judge's
they just
chambers, baby.
can't let him walk. Like, I think that they would literally give him a blank check.
Because yeah, if Judge leaves, they have to literally tear down that section of the
Dude,
ballpark.
it's a huge investment. Yeah, they would
Like
lose
they're
more
not gonna be able
money
to sell
tearing
their
that chamber down.
$750 gowns, gavels, and wig. Come on.
Yeah.
And if Hal brings back Judge, the chicken buckets are gonna be like $21.99, and everyone's gonna pay it willingly because they're committing to paying Judge.
Dude, they already are at like $22.
What?
Yeah.
All right, so they're gonna be $27.99,
Yeah.
and that's because everyone knows they're helping pay Judge's salary.
I'll be
But
for that.
the other guy that you and I were talking about a little bit beforehand that Ryan also did a piece on. I'm just plugging Ryan this episode. What the hell?
Ryan's a stud, dude. Ryan's my favorite.
New Masataka Yoshida, the Japanese 29-year-old left fielder who walked twice as much as he struck out, which is insane. That's basically like
That's wild.
Luis Arias, but the dude also slugged like 680. So we gotta respect Masataka Numasa or Yoshi for Yoshida, whichever one you want to call him.
No,
I feel like the guy
Nasa.
will be an absolute fan favorite immediately with the Yankees, and he would not command nearly as pricey of a contract as someone like Nimmo. So what do you think about him? Could we see Hideki 2.0? What are your thoughts on Masataka potentially becoming a Yankee?
I would absolutely love it. Masahiro Tanaka is my dude. I will love him forever. I miss him dearly. And I think the Yankees, you know, they've had a Japanese player on their team other than the last 2 years, like, every year since, like, 2003, because they really like bringing in that extra viewership from Japan.
Hmm.
Because if
And
there's
they're
a
oftentimes
player
great baseball players. I don't think the Yankees have
yeah, I
had,
mean,
I think they've had
Hideki
like maybe
Matsui,
one rough that didn't work out, but every Japanese baseball player that's come and played for the Yankees
there
has
was a
done
couple.
amazing stuff. Look at Hiroki.
Ching-Ming Wang, I think.
I
Was that
thought
his
Ching
name?
Ming Wan was Chinese.
Was he?
I think he's Chinese.
Okay. And
But
there
no, yeah,
was
you had Hiroki. We even had Ichiro for a bit. Obviously, Hideki was a huge fan favorite.
Masahiro.
Masa, like they've had success with them, and I know the Yankees were at least interested in Seiya Suzuki, but Seiya went for far more than it looked like a lot of teams were willing to spend on
Yes,
him.
they were in on him.
So I don't know. Maybe we could see a new Masa 2.0, Masa Squared. Could you imagine playoff Tanaka comes playoff Masa Taka?
Dude, I'd probably do that if he had, like, a big postseason moment, but I mean, his stats are phenomenal. Like, as a lot of them are when they're coming over to America, um, I'm
But
blanking
they're
on
a
the
little
name.
bit above AAA, I personally think, in terms of the
Oh,
competition.
100%, and, like, there have been players that have panned out that have came from Japan.
Mhm.
Um, it's definitely a big adjustment, but,
He
I mean,
OPS'd
it wouldn't be too pricey.
1.007, 1,007 OPS in 121 games. The dude could easily be like a leadoff hitter, especially if the Yankees don't want to go after Benintendi because they could bring him back. The Yankees need to find a true leadoff hitter. I personally don't like. I'm not one that's oftentimes a big fan of set spots and lineups. Like I don't think you need a true cleanup hitter because I don't think RBIs mean all that much in baseball. It's a team stat. You have to have guys that get on base to lead to RBI opportunities. Like everyone loves Pete Alonso because he had the most RBIs. Pete Alonso had like a 2.5
Oh,
F4.
yeah, I don't take RBI
Like
too much into
meh.
account.
So, but leadoff hitters I think are critical to a team's 1 through 9 success because that dictates how you pitch to the 2, 3, 4, and how you pitch to the 7, 8, 9 in the lineup. Look at what we did with Houston. We gave up hits to Chas McCormick and Martin Maldonado like in every crucial spot because we didn't really want to pitch to Altuve and Pena, and then we had to pitch them anyways, and Pena absolutely slaughtered the Yankees. Luckily, he did the same thing to the Phillies, so it wasn't just an us thing. That kid is a
Yeah, he's a
damn
stud.
star,
If
and
he was
the
a
Yankees could
Yankee
have that if they had started Peraza from the get go, because Peraza looked like he was putting everything together in the regular season. He had like an 860 OPS.
don't get me started on the shortstop stuff. I don't wanna go down that rabbit hole.
Last thing for this episode, I was going to ask, last thing. Do you think the Yankees even entertain a shortstop like the Trey Turner, Carlos Correa, Xander Bogaerts, who's a huge Jeter fan and has like 1,500 hits? Do you think they even look their way?
The only way IMO would be if somehow they were outbid for Judge by San Francisco or by the
Ugh.
Mets or whatever, and then, like, they had to go to, like, a plan B, like, "Shit, we need to sign someone."
I mean, you
And
know what
then
that means? Evan
maybe
Longoria, Yankee.
no. Stop, bro. Don't even say that. That'd be
Well,
dumb. Well, at least he's likable.
yeah, I was about to say, I like at least Evan Longoria is like a good dude, and everyone loves Evan Longoria. And he's
Yeah,
also a Yankee killer, so it'd make perfect sense for Cashman to sign him and be like,
at the end of his
everyone
career.
everyone remembers those 2010s where Evan Longoria was just absolutely beating the Yankees, and we always wished he was on our side. Well, now he's on our side. I'm pleased to announce Evan Longoria on a 2-year, $56 million contract. I can see it now. But watch him actually be
Stop, bro.
good, the good veteran that we bring over, not one that's washed and terrible. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like this offseason. I'm excited for it to get going. Hot stove in it as well. And the January, December time is just honestly one of my favorite times in baseball. Just to see where everyone goes, the market, see how it's dictated, to see Scott Boras absolutely beg and plead for as much money possible for his client. It's quite the spectacle, especially around the holidays. Um, but Gabe, is there any closing thoughts you'd like to leave us with here? Any pieces of wisdom or shock moves that the Yankees could make?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. I don't know,
Of
dude.
course, I'm putting you on the spot, Gabe.
Um, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa extended. No, I'm kidding. No,
Ooh,
I don't know. I just expect them to re-sign Judge and then maybe add, like, Yoshi, I think is a possibility. I actually, like, legitimately do think that he's a possibility.
I think it's a big shot. Like it's a
Him,
big
Judge
chance.
Him, Judge, Tommy Kahnle, and Carlos Rodon, let's win the championship.
Number 28's coming home, baby. Which,
And
as Ryan Rocco
and
said,
let Volpe and Peraza play next year. Just give them a full chance.
yep. And then this year will be the year that we can run back that clip where it's like, no more talk, no more excuses. This time is different. And then it's like, well, meanwhile, when the whole Astros series was just like aggravating press conference after aggravating press
Dude,
conference.
it was kind of sad. Like the Astros, like they didn't even clown us really, like a little bit, but like they didn't even like haha, like they didn't really rub it in because like
no, they knew
just,
that
like,
they were just gonna walk through us.
Yeah, it was like
And,
kind of embarrassing.
After the first 2 games of the series, when like I think it was the game 2 where Judge hit the home run that wasn't a home run because the roof was open, or maybe it was game 3. No, it was game 2 because it was in Houston.
That was two.
That was 2. And then after everyone's like, yeah, like Boone's like, we got to close the roof, guys. We can't. That's why we lost. It's like, oh god. Instead of saying we only had one like legitimate shot that game, like whatever. We're moving on, Gabe. 2023 is in our sights. 2020 vision. We cannot be looking behind us. We don't have the blinders on.
Let's do this, baby.
I'm excited, dude. I'm excited.
I'm starting to get pumped now for this.
Yeah, dude. You should be. It's Yankees baseball, baby. This is where we're gonna take that parade down Broadway. Come on. Even not this is the year. Next year's the year where we're gonna.
I'm excited, man.
So long until opening day. Well, all right. On that sad note, this has been a very fun episode, dude. I love talking with you, Gabe. Love having you on the channel.
Thank you, dude. I love coming on. I love just talking Yanks with anyone.
It's just fun, and like as you know, we don't really hold back our thoughts on the Yankees. So it's just say what you want to say. We're
not being censored by
and all the fans
know.
Yeah, and all the fans know that like what we're saying is the truth. They just a lot of times there's not places that say when they're being paid by the Yankees. So we can't be having that we're not paid by the Yankees. We can say whatever we want. Like Aaron Boone. If you manage a game like you did in the ALCS again, you're gonna be working at Subway in 2024. This is his last shot.
He won't be.
This is his last shot this year. I don't think he should be fired. I think Cashman should be fired.
If we want to talk about Game 1, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much that's on Boone. Like, I don't think Boone.
No, it's not. But I'm just saying some of the managerial bullpen decisions, some of the lineup decisions. Dude, the Phillies and Astros changed their lineup one time in the ALCS and NLCS and the World Series. The Yankees had 8 different lineups. Like, what are we doing, guys?
I don't like. I wonder how much that actually affects the players. Like, if they do care, like if they
it has to a bit.
I think it would. I think it would a little bit. Just
IKF was just
nice for them to have some consistency.
In disarray. Like seeing him not play the last 2 games of the ALCS
and
then starting in the ALCS. It's like, what is happening?
The worst part about the postseason was like the shortstop situation. Like. That is like almost unbelievable how they went the entire IKF. He's a top 5 shortstop defensively in the league. We love his defense. We love what he brings. And then you say that the whole year, and then you bench him in the postseason
for 2 guys that you didn't play the whole year that are rookies.
Dude, how are you going to throw the rookie who you didn't even give a real chance? You're just going to throw him into the ALCS. Like, all right, bud, you're starting game 2.
Yep.
Waldo Cabrera didn't play shortstop for over a month, and then he's our starting shortstop
for game 4. I think
you should have admitted it in the regular season that he is not the shortstop that you think, and you should have given other people an actual chance.
But they don't take accountability. The front office for the past few years with the Yankees has never taken accountability when they make a bad move. It's always, we think he's got something left, or we think that this was just an off year for him, or look at what he did at this part of the game. That was great, huh? When in reality, it's just we messed up and we're not going to admit we messed up. The Twins deal was a disaster. If they wanted to get rid of Gary Sanchez that badly, they could have just DFA'd him, non-tendered. It's not that difficult.
Non-tender. I mean, like there were
and Gio was way better than Donaldson as a whole this season. Defensively, Donaldson was very, very good. But with the bat in his hands, Gio like put up like a 115, 120 WRC plus. Like Gio was good.
No, Gio was like non-debatably better than Donaldson. Like Donaldson. Gio took a step back on defense, and Donaldson was fantastic. I mean, the entire
should have won the Gold Glove. Honestly, cannot believe he didn't even get nominated.
Yeah,
which is it's a false award.
It's funny how nobody actually because no one likes Donaldson, so nobody actually cares. They're like, oh, Donaldson should have won.
Whatever. Yeah, fuck it. Who cares? That guy was laughing when he was walking back to the dugout after striking out on 3 pitches down the middle. Screw you. And that's the thing. If Ronald Guzman got banished to the shadow realm for not jogging to first base, and he was gone. Remember, like when he came up for like 2 games,
Oh, I
and he
remember.
like didn't hustle to first base on a play that was like he could have made it, and then he
I,
got
I I
sent
remember
down.
that game very well.
But when Josh Donaldson does it, everyone's like, Josh is getting the like not everyone, the front office is like Josh is just getting all of the hate thrown his way. We haven't had good at bats, and he's had some pretty good
Sure,
at
yeah.
bats. And it's like, what do you mean? He's had some good at bats. I could go up there and provide the same offensive value as Josh Donaldson did in the postseason. And I haven't played baseball since high school, and I was ass in high school. I it's just astonishing. I don't know, Gabe. We are gonna get into another little rabbit hole here, and we got it. We
Yeah,
cannot do
sure.
this. We have to have you back
keep
on to
getting
talk about
distracted.
the postseason demise. We'll have an episode about that sometime with you.
I don't know if I want to relive it, dude. Like now I'm like in a bad mood.
No, okay. We think about Masa coming over. Don't worry. Masa's gonna right the ship. He's gonna be the new Hideki. Bat leadoff too. Everyone's gonna love him. Judge right behind him. Rizzo right behind him. A healthy Giancarlo.
Giancarlo.
Glaber. I think that
Then
we didn't
Glaber.
talk about Glaber. I think Glaber's gone.
Yeah, me too.
I think we packaged Glaber.
Bro, we just keep adding more topics.
I know it's
Yeah,
it's the season,
I
baby.
could say I think it's more likely Glaber is traded, than he's back. Even though I love Glaber Torres and
Yeah,
I would
same.
like to have him back. You know that's another 8 or 9 mil he's scheduled to make that they can try to dump off for. I don't know if they try to get a Pablo Lopez or what they're trying to do. You know they did try to trade him at the trade deadline. They
Yeah, he
rebuilt
did
his
not like
value back
that.
up. He's a
Glaber
good
was not a
second
fan.
baseman. Yeah, that fucked with him mentally.
Yeah, and like he said that after the season, he's like, I don't even know what my future holds here. Like, I don't know
He
what to
did?
think anymore.
I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
So it's like, well, damn. If you're already having second thoughts about returning, maybe the Yankees should try to ship you off. Maybe there's a big old
wait,
package.
hold up. I've live breaking news.
Live moment.
Here at GM meetings, Brian Cashman says Josh Donaldson is the Yankees' third baseman next year. That's a good way to end the show.
We'll let you interpret that as you may, viewers around the world. I know we're very popular in every country in the world. Fireside Yankees.
They believe he still has a lot left.
Of course they do, because we definitely saw the last season's 162 game plus 11 game postseason was not big enough of a sample size for the Yankees to gauge a player, as we saw. So the left side of the infield will be run back the same. That's we're gonna end the episode on. IKF Donaldson 2023.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I think it's more likely that those two are the left side of the infield to start the year.
Just doesn't make sense. Why? It's just I hate life. I hate the Yankees front office. Brian Cashman. Then again, remember when Boone was saying that Voigt's our first baseman, and then he was traded a week later?
Maybe he's just saying that, just like how he said Gio Urshela is the Yankee shortstop right now, and they traded him like the next morning or next night.
So this all probably doesn't mean anything, but you hate to hear. I mean, I guess he probably wouldn't come out and be like, "Oh yeah, we think Josh Donaldson sucks, so we're trying to trade him," because then no one wants him. But at the same time, it's like everyone just saw the same thing, and everyone just watched his monumentally disastrous playoff performance. There's no way you can possibly try to twist this as he just had a rough spout. He had a rough stretch. He couldn't acclimate to the team.
I could pull up the StatCast numbers and how brutally he regressed, and it's because he's old
across the board. Even he was great defensively. That was the only stat he improved on. But even you look at his arm and his
weird.
He was around. Yeah, he was around the same. What really helped him is that his defensive run saved and outs above average. He was just a brick wall over there. Like he'd knock everything down. He covered shortstop a lot of the time because IKF was awful. But that means that he's going to be playing shortstop again next season. I don't know. All right, we got to end this episode, Gabe. This is just driving me crazy hearing that's what the GM thinks. Anyways, this has been a fun episode of Fireside Yankees. Lots of content in here. So I hope everyone listening enjoyed it. Yeah, of course, Gabe. We love having you on, dog. The fans love it too. All the comments are always like, Gabe knows ball. And it's all the little Gabe minions coming over. They're like, love this episode. I'm like, let's go. This is how we get views. We're gonna mooch off Gabe.
I love all of you. Even for the people that hate me, I still love you.
Gabe, no one hates you. If they do hate you, they hate themselves and they hate their mama. So it's all right. It's all right. Anyways, with Fireside Yankees, I'm Nick Nielsen with Playoff Tanaka saying adios and thank you so much for listening. This was a fun one, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.